Hi guys, Mike in the Woods here, and skatepacking, if you're not already familiar, is the concept of wilderness or urban backpacking while on an electric skateboard, although you could also use an electric unicycle, scooter, or bicycle as well. And if you're curious to learn more, I actually have a video linked in the description down below, which explains in more detail my concept of skatepacking. As you can imagine, adding a battery to the mix of things you have with you that always has to be charged can throw a huge wrench into planning, because you have to plan out where you have to charge beforehand. So the question is, where do you charge while on a skatepacking trip? Turns out there's actually a surprising number of places you can charge while on the go. And you guessed it, in today's video, we're going to take a look at 10 places you can charge up your electric skateboard or other portable electric vehicle. One point I do want to make is, no matter where you look to charge up, always make sure to try and get permission first where relevant. And one last thing before we get started, please be sure to like, leave a comment down below, and maybe even subscribe. Number 10, lampposts. Alright, let's start this off with the only one on the list that's a bit of a long shot. Some, not all, lampposts and streetlights have outlets on them. This is a very sporadic thing and something you'll have to research on your own for a given route or area you'll be in. If you're lucky enough to identify some along your planned route, it offers you a unique benefit of being able to charge in areas you normally might not be able to charge in, mid-trail, between major population centers, and other pathways. Number 9, storefronts and other public-facing commercial properties. Sometimes the only available option is that of a convenience store, grocery store, or other shop or storefront. And with these types of places, don't expect that you'll be able to charge. Try asking nicely and even offer up a few bucks or buy something to incentivize the person in charge to let you plug in and charge away. Number 8, bus stations, train and subway stations, and airports. If you happen to pass through any of these public transportation areas, these are prime places to charge your portable electric vehicle, although I advise avoiding doing it during rush hour in major cities. They're good places to get out of the heat or cold into a nice, climate-controlled environment where you can gather yourself and enjoy a snack or just relax for a while as you charge up. Number 7, malls and shopping centers. If your route happens to take you near any shopping centers or malls, these also make good places to charge up, as they also have access to many restaurants, dollar stores, and any other shops you need to resupply your backpacking consumables. A lot of times, major shopping centers are also major points of interest in some cities, so you can sort of kill two birds with one stone, charging up while getting to explore a featured attraction. Number 6, buildings with external outlets. Occasionally, you'll come across publicly accessible buildings, as in buildings that don't require you to trespass in order to access, that have external outlets. They're everywhere if you know where to look: office buildings, federal and municipal buildings, stores, and shops. Now, sometimes these outlets aren't meant for public use, so you'll have to use some common sense and situational awareness to make a reasonable judgment call. As always, asking for permission is always a good idea. Number 5, libraries and civic centers. These places can be a hidden gem for finding a place to charge. Libraries are pretty self-explanatory, just be sure to keep the noise level down. If you're looking for somewhere quiet to get a charge and relax for a bit, a library might be a great stop for you. For civic centers, if you're not familiar with them, they're the municipal buildings that have things like swimming pools, hockey rinks, gyms, and other activity centers meant for public use. If you keep to yourself and out of the way, they're great places to plug in and charge. Number 4, parks with presentation gazebos, pavilions, and stages. Have you ever been to a park that has a large public gazebo, pavilion, or stage? Oftentimes these will have power outlets in or around them, offering you a place to charge up in an area that there might not otherwise be any method of doing so. Just make sure that there aren't any active events happening where the stage or gazebo might be occupied, leaving you unable to plug in. As always, be respectful of any other people in the vicinity and check and make sure you're actually getting power out of the outlet. Number 3, coffee shops and fast food restaurants. One of the more obvious ones on the list, coffee shops and fast food restaurants make a great place for you to stop and get some coffee, drinks, or food and charge up your battery. There are so many of these types of places, even along major roads out in the middle of nowhere. Even small towns tend to have at least one or two. As long as it's not super busy, where having you occupy a seat for a few hours would be an issue, there's no reason you can't pop in, buy something, and sit and relax for a few hours while you take a break as your battery charges. Just be courteous to the people around you. Number 2, campsites. Unsurprisingly, in today's modern world, most drive-up campsites, and even some backcountry ones, offer electrical service to your campsite. For any of your overnight camp locations at one of these campgrounds, be sure to book one that has electrical outlets so that you can charge up your battery overnight. If you opt to charge up overnight at a campsite and you can't fit your portable electric vehicle into your tent, I advise having like a lightweight tarp or a plastic sheet you can cover your e-skate with in the event of rain overnight or otherwise during the duration of your stay at the campsite. And number 1, hotels, motels, and hostels. Probably the most obvious but important one on the list. On a cross-country skatepacking trip, surely some of your overnights will be at any of these 3 accommodations, and obviously they make great places to charge up. And if you opt to go the Airbnb route instead, the same thing applies, just be courteous to the homeowner. Of course, these particular accommodations could prove to be quite expensive and will quickly add up if you opt to stay in them frequently over the course of your skatepacking trip. But you can't beat the comfort when it comes to resetting yourself for the next day's travel, especially if you opt to take a 0 day or 2 and stay at your room for 2 or 3 nights before heading back out. So, there you have it. 10 places where you can find a good place to charge up while out on a skatepacking trip. Hopefully this list has given you plenty of places to think about plugging in and charging up your battery. There really are a lot of places if you look hard enough. And you know what? Even if you do run out of power, it's not the end of the world. It's not too much effort to carry or push your electric skateboard or other electric vehicle to the next charge point. I recommend considering how you'll transport your vehicle if you lose power in advance. I would love to hear your thoughts, so please be sure to sound off in the comments section below. If you liked the video and are interested in more skatepacking content, please be sure to like and maybe even subscribe, as we are on the home stretch to 1,000 subscribers. Be sure to check out the links in the description if you want to help out the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week.